Good morning, everybody. So we'll pick up on a few things Tom said. I'm going to be wrong. I will ruffle a few edges because I can in my older age, and I'd like to challenge you around the boundaries, because my real job today is to set the borders for today. It's not to answer the questions. That's the job of the later speakers. I've only got 10 minutes, so you better ring the bell now. Let me start with a quote. Technology, the only strategic edge, or the only military strategic edge, yeah? So this book came out last year by a guy called Stephen Bryan, who I haven't met and I haven't read the book, but I just wanted to present the thesis of the book to you because I thought it was rather interesting. It's brand new, might be worth reading, because Stephen Bryan, in quote, this is from Time magazine, the Yoda of the arms trade. Formerly the Defence Department, as in US Defence Department, export czar, he knows every sinkhole in the regulatory swamp, ignore him at your peril. So I won't ignore him. Let me give you a quick précis of what he said in his book as a kick-off to this day. Right. Stephen Bryan shows how the United States has squandered its technological leadership through unwise policies. Starting from biblical times, he shows how technology has either increased national power or led to military and political catastrophe. Yin and yang, right? No answers there. He goes on to show how the US has eroded its technological advantages, endangering its own security. The book extends across 3,000 years of history, from an induced plague in Athens, to chemical weapons in Ypres, to atomic bomb on Hiroshima. It describes new weapon systems and stealth jets, cyber attacks, looting America's defence secrets, and much more. The core thesis is supported by unique insight, new documentation, blah, 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 blah. So, this guy's point is that technology used well is the arbiter of effect. And he goes on to show how that was done in history and how it wasn't. Let me counter that argument with one word: Vietnam. Or I could say Korea, couldn't I? Or let me put it another way. Did the West, outside World War II, or since World War II, win a single conflict in the 20th century strategically? Did it? What's the answer? Did the West win a single strategic conflict? No one checks their head?
Yeah, one, the Cold War.
Yes? Oh, good, that's true. In fact, there was two, the Cold War and the Falklands. Everything else we lost. Every other thing we won militarily, but we lost strategically or politically. We're going to change the terms in conflict. Yeah, we lost. The jury's still out, of course, in the Middle East, but I don't think things are looking too good there yet either. Back to Tom's point about reconstruction, or there's lots of terms for reconstruction. Has it actually helped? Well, historically the jury's still out on that too. Not a lot of analysis has been done. People make assumptions about effect, don't they? Because it suits the gestalt of the day. Well, you need to start challenging some of those assumptions. So there's two extremes, right? Technology is the answer, and Vietnam, where a technically superior United States strategically lost a war to a technically inferior Viet Cong. Catastrophically lost it. Same in Korea. Technology didn't save them then, did it? Far from it. Now, from an Air Force officer, that might surprise everybody that I'd say those things, but I'm also a national security strategy guy, so there's a bit of balance to be struck there too, particularly for our more junior members. Don't be seduced by technology. Let me talk a bit about technology in Australia and technology in the Royal Australian Air Force, because this term, technology, the only strategic edge, edges we have known, edges this Air Force has pushed. We've recognised technical edges in doctrine and strategy, capability edges, alliance edges. We haven't recognised other edges we own in Australia: geography, our culture, the capacity of our humans, of our people to adapt, our alliance posture. But they're all edges too. At no time, though, has that edge actually endured as an idea or really been prosecuted. Technical edge. Right now, we've got a very techie Air Force, don't we? Very techie Air Force, and getting more techie by the day. Let me put a countervailing view. In particular kinds of conflict, that kind of technology can be absolutely dominant. Absolutely. But what if you can't protect it? What if you can't sustain it? What if you can't maintain the relationships that actually allow that technology to be affected or produced in your country? And if you're facing an adversary of quality, that's what they're going to attack. So being comfortable with your own technical edge, where you don't own it, but take it from another, in our case, primarily the United States, is an interesting proposition, isn't it? It works when you have complete air dominance, or complete technical dominance, or complete strategic dominance, like we do in the Middle East, even though I wouldn't call it strategic dominance. But it doesn't work when you're facing an adversary of quality, where you have to prevail against them and sustain that prevalence over time through your own national industrial posture with your friends. Because the enemy, as I said, will attack that. Who thinks GPS is going to be available on day one of the war? Who thinks your phone's going to work? Who thinks the light's going to be on? Are you prepared to fight without those things? Are you? Have you been prepared for that? Have you thought about it? So is technology really the edge? Or is it just another tool? What else do we do in Australia around technology? Well, some really basic things. Big country, small population. Sounds pretty obvious, right? We have traded, by design, technology for mass in our defence forces. We don't have mass, and we'll never have mass because our population's too small. So our technology is what we use instead of mass, the technical edge, talking about that before. Is it sustainable? Well, you know what? We have no choice, do we? Really? Not in Air Force, not in Navy. In Army it's somewhat different because the nature of the three services is very different. And the risks they hold with regard to technology and in people and in command is very different. And if you don't comprehend the nuance in that, you won't be a good general and you will fail. We are different by design because it suits the nature of the operations we conduct. So, the very techie, these are about 5 minutes? Yeah, 3 minutes. Very techie, very small. Air Forces are different, as I said, to armies in particular. Why? Because it takes Air Force 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, depending who you are, for an officer to reach technical mastery. Army can do it generally in 3. Army has more people, has more time to develop strategic thought, and more time to think about operations and command. Air Force takes a long time to master technology, and that means that our force is inherently imbued with technology and not so much in the other things that would make Air Force people good strategists. That's a challenge for Air Force, not Army so much. In the end though, and I'll finish up on this thought, technology, you can call it economy, you can call it the industrial base, is part of a nation's national power, along with other things. I'm not going through what national power models there are, I'm sure you all know them, but it's part of our national power. But it's only part of our national power while it remains valid, while it remains something we can both develop and sustain and protect. If that's not true, then it's not really part of your national power, is it? Unless someone else assures it for you. Now we hope to assure that through a relationship with the United States. That's what we do. We trade mass and we trade our own technical base for an alliance posture. That's okay. I think that's a valid thing to do, provided you understand the risks. But we can't actually develop our own technical base because we're losing our industrial base in this country. So that's something to think about in the context of today. That's all I have to say. There's no questions to me unless you want to grab me later on. But they're the borders, right? We started with the idea that technology is everything on one hand, and we finished with the idea in Vietnam that despite technology, it didn't matter much because we still lost major conflicts. Somewhere between those two extremes lives reality, and good generalship, good leadership, and good strategic thought, both militarily and academically, lives between those two extremes. Context matters. Thanks.